Hi everyone, welcome back to Total War Therapy, and today we're gonna analyze every single unit from the Wood Elves roster. We're gonna see how they perform in battle, and at the end, following one suggestion of yours, we are gonna decide if they are never worth to recruit, if they are just for fun, if they are situationals or niche, or if they are always worth to recruit. Say that, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy my video, and let's begin. Let's start with the basic melee infantry that is split into three different categories: the Eternal Guards, the Dryads and the War Dancers. The first unit we're gonna address is the Eternal Guard. There are two versions of that. The basic one and the version with the shield that sacrifice a little of charge bonus to gain more defense and the shield to protect themselves from missile attacks. But you require a special building that you may need a little of time during your campaign to unlock. But say that they are quite similar. The Eternal Guard will be your only decent and solid front line for the rest of the game. Also the Dryads, but the Dryads are more a mid shield, okay? If you want to protect your units from missile, arrows and bullets, the Eternal Guard will be your only option for free since the beginning to the late campaign. And they are great, you can boost them with the skill tree, with the technology, and overall, since they will not be the damage dealer but just the bread and butter of your army, you can still recruit them even, forward in the game, and you will be satisfied with their performance. They don't have a lot of armor, but they have an amazing leadership. The speed is low compared to the Wood Elves in general units. The melee attack and melee defense, they are not that impressive, but they stand still. The weapon strength is great, and they have armor piercing damage that it's weird, I will be honest. And yes, they have all the anti-large attributes, so the charge defense, the charge deflection. Overall, they are a must, in my opinion, for your campaign, so for me they deserve the always worth to recruit attribute. Let's move to the Dryads. They are the more offensive and mid-shield option for your basic melee infantry. They gain more armor, more speed, that is great if you want to play with the attack mode. They gain more melee attack, but they sacrifice a lot of melee defense. Then they have better weapon strength and charge bonus, but they are not armor piercing. So very different compared to the Eternal Guard. Then they have less leadership, but they have a lot of good attributes. They have the magical effect, the vanguard deployment, so you can hide them in a forest closer to your enemies. Then they are immune to psychology, so who cares about monster, and the physical resistance. So if you are playing not against demons but about humans, they are probably the best choice. But they have the fire weakness, so if you are fighting against the Chaos Dwarfs, that can be a problem. And they cause fear, that for a basic infantry, for a very low tier infantry like that, it's great. The only problem is that you require a particular building. Okay, that, in some cases, especially in the beginning of your campaign, you can find it difficult to decide which is the best, and I would prioritize the building that unlock the Eternal Guard. That's why for me they are more situational. They are still very great, and if you are playing against humans, probably humans with not that much missile attack, they are great, but I would still prefer the Eternal Guard to build my front line. Now let's talk about the War Dancer. The War Dancer are the more advanced infantry, and they are quite specific. They sacrifice a lot of armor. They're basically with the no armor that even with the physical resistance of 20%, it's a huge weakness. They have a lot of speed, they are very fast for an infantry unit. The melee attack and melee defense are both great. The weapon strength is high with the anti-infantry bonus, but it's lower compared to the Dryads. And then they have a lot of charge bonus, so they are basically like a little cavalry, and they are still immune to psychology, so don't care about monster or cavalry and so on. And they have a couple of ability, some augment that you can switch, that basically they sacrifice in one case the melee defense to get more missile resistance, and this is a very big advantage when you're like addressing your attacking and charging an army of humans, for example, with a lot of missile power, or they have an augment that increases their melee defense, sacrificing the attack. So you can use them as a bow stalk for for the rest of your army. They're great in my opinion, and once if you want to focus your army less on monsters, so with the Eternal Guard and then the monsters, archers and so on, if you want to rely more on your infantry, they are a very nice choice. They require a little of management because with all the augments and so on, and then they can be weak with their armor, so still complicated to use. For me, they are situational niche units because they're great, but even in this case, you have to wonder. You have to be careful of the situation where you're putting them, because against the wrong army, they can really perform very bad. But great unit. Now the version with the spears. That is basically the same, but you can expect to have, attribute more suitable for against cavalry and monsters. So they have the charge reflection, the charge defense, and the anti-large bonus. What is great about these units for me is that they have a lot of speed, that together with the anti-large bonus they can literally chase cavalry in the flanks or walls, so on, and this is an amazing combination of attributes, and they are still immune to psychology, so who cares monsters, they have physical resistance, and you don't have to use them as your front line against infantry, so the shield is less necessary. That's why I put them in my must to recruit, because they can be very helpful. Even if you want to build your army over the Eternal Guard, they can still be an amazing choice to defend your flanks in my perfect Wood Elves army. The last and the most elite melee infantry we're gonna talk about are the Wildwood Rangers, that are basically the champions of your Wood Elves army. They have a lot, good armor, a lot for a Wood Elves units of armor, decent speed but not amazing like the War Dancers. Melee attack and melee defense are good, but the real deal is the weapon strength with the anti-infantry and the armor piercing that deals a lot of damage, that together with the charge bonus make them perfect to offensive charging and so on. They're still immune to psychology, they have an ability that increases their stats when there is a monster nearby, and then they have the stalk. The stalk is great because you can move them around the battlefield hidden and then attack your enemies at the back. They're still not that fast for a stalk units. That's why I would put them, in my personal opinion, in the more for fun units. Okay, they are not in my perfect Wood Elves army. They are great, but it's more for fun, because as a damage dealer you can use your missile powers, your monsters. You don't need this elite infantry with the stalk, yes, but very expensive, a little slow compared to other units, and with the armor piercing damage that can be wasted in many situations. Now let's move to the missile infantry of the Wood Elves, that is split into three different categories: the Glade Guard, the Deep Wood Scouts, and the Wave Watchers. Let's start with the Glade Guard. They are the lowest tier archers, but they're still very great as the archers compared to the other versions in the game. They have basically no armor, so if they will be addressed by other missile attacks or from some wolves, some bats, they are really in danger, so protect them very carefully. The speed, it's good, but it could have been greater in my opinion. The melee stats of course are not worth to mention. The range is 170. That is a lot for a basic archers. They're probably the best basic archery in the game. They have the fire whilst moving, so they can just move around while hitting with their arrows. That it's a great attribute. They can little escape or keep a distance from the enemy and then shoot arrows again, so it's really great, and for me they are a must in your army. Even if there are other versions, they are the easier to recruit, so just focus on them and you will see great things. The Glade Guard come with the two specials option. The first is the one with Hagbane tips, that are basically the poisoned arrows, that have also the magical effect. This can be good because the poison reduces some stats and especially the speed of your enemies that are approaching you, and if they are chasing you and you have the poison, this can be good. And then they have the magical attack that is very good against demons and some particular faction, but they are still situational situational for me, because you need to spend a little more, and they require a special building to unlock before you can recruit them. So I would still rely more on the Glade Guard, unless, as I said, you are against some particular faction like demons and so on. So situational for me is okay. And then at the end you have the version with the Starfire Shaft, that they have the fire effect together with the magical effect, and then they are armor piercing. These are great. These are great. I think that if you don't want to, I mean, even if you don't, you're not at the point of your campaign when you can recruit the Way Watcher, probably they are the best option even compared to the Glade Guard, because I mean, you will fight against enemies with that are more armored, so they're great. They have less missile strength, but with the ammo piercing, I mean, it's a game changing. You still require a different building, but for me they are a must. I would replace all my Glade Guard, my generic Glade Guard, with them, so yeah, it's a must to recruit in your campaign. Now let's talk about the Deepwood Scouts, that are basically the more advanced missile infantry. They have a little better melee stats, but they sacrifice a little speed, but yeah, they are all the same. They just have the Stalk, that it's great. I mean, the Stalk is a huge attribute, and with an archers like that is not that fast, but you know, you can move around, you have you can shoot arrows from the back of your enemies when they will be more effective, and you gain a little of range, that will be 180. That it's a lot. It's a lot. There are no other archers in the game that can reach you, so very good. And yes, I would replace my Glade Guard with them. I mean, even the Starfire Shaft. So yeah, they are definitely great, and I will put them in my must category, must to recruit. They come also with a version that is called the Deep Scout with the Shift Shiver shards. They are very particular because they have 2 shots, not 1. They have the magical attack, but they sacrifice the range. That for me is not good. Okay, this, I mean, Wood Elves rely a lot on the longer range compared to the other factions, so sacrificing this for more damage can be dangerous. They can still move around, they have the Stalk, the Vanguard deployment, but yeah, they require more management, and you need to rebuild your formation. That's why, I mean, you have to put them in the Vanguard area probably, so no, but I mean, they require more management, more attention. That's why for me they are more for fun. Funny to recruit, definitely. Funny to watch because their shots, I mean, you will see the difference on the damage, but yeah, they require more attention. So if I have to build my perfect Wood Elves army, they are definitely not there. The Way Watcher, these are I really think the most elite archers in the game. They are better at everything compared to the Deepwood Scouts, and they have an ability where their damage is even enhanced when there is no enemy in 70 meters, I guess. They have the armor piercing, so they are great against armored units. They are fast, and being fast is good because you can you know, flee and escape the enemies, while with the firewalls moving you will still be able to attack. They are so dangerous, so powerful, and I mean, they're a pain in the, you know, because they're great, and they have a range of 190. That is basically like a very little artillery piece. They're amazing. They're amazing. They are of course very elite, and you will need a lot of time. They are, I think, a 4 tier building, so they are not that accessible, and then they're very expensive. I mean, they cost like more than 2 Glade Guards, but I think that the price in your late campaign is definitely worthy. That's why I would put them in my must category. I think I put too many units in the must category, but yes, once you have the Glade Guard and then you replace them with the Starfire Shaft, and then with the Deepwood Scouts, and at the end with the Way Watchers, I mean, you have your you know, building from the early to late campaign to the best missile power for Wood Elves, but even one of the best in the game about missile infantry, so they're all very great. Now let's move to the cavalry section. That are we can split them in three categories. Also the Wild Riders, the Glade Riders, and the Sisters of the Thorn. Let's start with the Wild Riders. These are your very basic cavalry with a version with shield. That is always you'll gain a little of defense. The shield that protects you from missile. And you will get, but you need, a specific building. So you decide if it's worth the price or not. Anyway, the Wild Riders are very basic but very fast, 90% of speed. The armor is just mid, good leadership, melee attack and melee defense. Of course, they are not impressive, but they are supposed to attack only missile infantry, artillery, and so on. The weapon strength, it's everything very basic. They are still quite a shock cavalry because they have a good charge bonus. They have the frenzy, that so their stats will be increased, and then the physical resistance and the coast sphere. I don't know why, maybe because they are dear, I assume, but yes, I like them. Depends, of course, in which way you want to play. If you want to play more offensively, if you want to use them to attack the back of your enemies, or just to protect your flanks, and that's why for me they are quite situational. Okay, with Wood Elves you can even just play defensively. That is my way. So they're good. I mean, they're definitely good, but depends which is your strategy. That's why they are situational. Then there is the Glade Riders that are the archers on horse. They are, I mean, even here they are what you can expect from a missile cavalry. So good range compared to other cavalry, but still not impressive. All the melee stats are just forgettable, and yeah, nothing that much to say about their missile attack. They have the vanguard deployment the fires while moving. I mean, just the very basic missile cavalry. I would recruit them. No, for me they're just for fun. As I said in other previous videos, these kind of units, I like to use them, but I don't think that they are necessary. Then there is the version with poison effects. That, the same rules as always. You need a specific building, and at the end they are more. In this case they are more situational, like I said previously. So better against demons, or if you want to slow down enemies. So perfect for Nargle, and yeah, in this case. For me, just not worth. You need the special building. So overall is not a choice I would suggest to think about. They are so niche that for me are just a never to recruit, even because we have to put some units there. Otherwise, why I put this section for? And at the end of our cavalry faction, we find the Sisters of the Thorn. Now, these are quite particular. They're supposed to be the counterpart of the War Dancer. Probably they are very niche, very specific. They have no armor, again, with a little of physical resistance, but believe me, it will not make the difference, and they don't have, like the War Dancer, the ability to boost your missile resistance. The leadership is great, the speed is great, the melee attack and melee defense are okay. The weapon strength, charge bonus, they have less charge bonus of the Wild Riders. That's why you're not supposed to use them as a shock cavalry. And then they have these arrows that are, they have a very short range of 90. For a Wood Elves is a shame. Okay, for any other faction is okay, but for a Wood Elves, a Wood Elf with the 90 of range. It's like, you're not even in our community, you're an outsider, you're a misfit. And the missile strength is great with the poison effect. They have, all the vanguard deployment, firewalls moving, and a couple of ability that can be good. The problem is that it's an ability, an active ability that you have, to active, and so it requires more management, and they're not that great. They are, they're just little. Overall, for the high management, for the very short range, for the melee stats that are not that impressive, in this overall missile attack that is supposed to be your main strength, but is not that outstanding, honestly, I would put them in my... my never to recruit units. I never recruit them in my army, just when I want to have fun, but want to have fun in easy situation of my campaign. If I have to play strong, I just don't find them that use, as I say, they can be useful, but they require so much management and attention that, they're just not worthy. I'm sorry. Now it's the moment of the flying beast of high elves, that are split into 3 different categories: the Oak Riders, the Great Eagle and the Forest Dragon. Let's start with the Oak Riders. They are of course more a flying missile cavalry. They are very fast, okay, they're exceptionally fast. They sacrifice a lot of leadership. I don't know why, maybe they are scared to be that high. The melee attack and melee defense is good, and but for a flying beast like that I would expect more, even because the weapon strength is cool with the armor piercing damage. So you have some cards to play them in melee, but others that say, just better no. The charge bonus, it's something in the mid, that it's I don't know. The range of 140, it's good for a missile flying cavalry, but yeah, I would be very careful of other missile units in my enemy army. The missile strength is great, but it's not armor piercing, and this is a weakness for me. They have also, the fire was moving, the vanguard deployment. Now, are these units worthy? First I have to say, if you are playing with the faction of the Sisters of the Twilight, definitely. They are definitely worthy, because they have a special ability that is like a tornado of arrows against, some more bombardments of arrows to your enemies, and in that case they are probably a must to recruit. But in other faction, I think they are more for fun. Why I'm saying for fun? Because you have a lot of fun with them, but they require a lot of management with a little range compared to some, grounded missile infantry of your enemy. They can be in danger, and their melee attack their melee stats are not that great to fight against other flying cavalry in the game. So, they are very situational. They require a lot of management, and yeah, they are more for fun, but they are not such a great unit. The Great Eagle. The Great Eagle is, I already talked about that in the previous video about high elves. I don't know if there are so many differences. Anyway, it's a great unit. It specializes, against cavalry characters. He doesn't have armor piercing damage. That it's a problem. It has the co-sphere, but believe me, we will not use it a lot. The speed is great. The armor is not that much. The melee attack and melee defense are just okay. The weapon strength and the charge bonus, even here, not armor piercing as I said, but good. Now, if you have to attack like one character, one cavalry that is trying to surround you, or even some flying beast, it can be good. So in some situation it's great, we can say, and worth to recruit. That's why I will give it the situational stuff. The Forest Dragon is your ultimate monster for your Wood Elves army. The armor is good, the speed, for a dragon is good, is 90. Melee attack and melee defense are great. This dragon specifically has the magical attack and the poison effect that is great in this case. The weapon strength is huge with armor piercing damage. The damages, the charge bonus is okay. It has a breath that can be quite strong against single units and large units, especially. It has some physical resistance and missile resistance, so will be more protected from arrows, and then it costs terror. This unit for me is great. In your late campaign you need big monsters that can be the problem solver and helping you in many different situations. That's, of course, it's very elite, very expensive, and you need a lot of time and money to recruit it, but for me it's a must to have in your army, especially when you are in your late campaign and as I said, you need a big dude like that, and you don't have so many other options. It's versatile, it's flying, and it's strong, tanky enough, so worthy choice. Now let's move to a couple of remaining monsters for the Wood Elves. We have the Three Kin. The Three are a very particular and unique units in the game. They are a monstrous infantry that play defensively. They have an amazing melee defense and charge defense versus large. That, I mean, not they should care because they're still a monstrous infantry with their mass, but you know, good to have. They are immune to psychology because they are trees basically. They have the physical resistance, missile resistance, and the fire weakness. So be careful of Chaos Dwarfs and the Corn. Basically, they cause fear. The armor is 90. That for a Wood Elves unit, it's I mean, it's quite unique. The speed, of course, they're very slow, and the weapon strength is not ammo piercing, no charge bonus. So in general, you have to use them to defend. They're not damage dealer. You have to, I mean, they can protect other units, and they are great at this purpose. And I like to use them, but yeah, since the speed and they don't do that much damage, you need you know, to organize your strategy thinking of that. That's why I put them in the situational thing. So worth it to recruit, but I would be, I mean, just in some circumstances, they are not always helpful. Now let's talk about the Treemen, the final monster of this roster. Very expensive, very elite. You will need a lot of time before to recruit them. It has a big armor of 110 that is exceptional for a Wood Elf unit. The speed, I mean, it's very slow of course, but the melee attack and melee defense are so huge, more than 50 and more than 50 with magical effect, armor piercing damage with half a thousand of weapon strength, and then all the three attributes, so the expert, charge defense, the physical resistance, the missile resistance, the fire weakness. It causes terror, so good to make units routing. I like this unit. Then it can negate magical weapons within the area, that in case you're in an army made of you know, dryads and three kin, it's very great, and it boosts all your strategy. I like this unit and it's great. I would still prefer the dragon for versatility and so on, but you know, as a tower of strength and power, it's invincible, it's immortal, very hard to catch, I mean, unless if the enemy is with some missile attacks, and that makes him situational. So in some situation it's very cool, great, but in other, like against an army of high health, of dark elves, he's just useless. That's why I will put it into this category, but very funny. Now let's talk about heroes. The basic Wood Elves faction offers you three different kinds: the Waste Stalker, the Spell Singer, and the Branch Wraith. Now let's start with the Waste Stalker. The Waste Stalker is your specialist missile hero of the roster. It also a duelist, but I mean, let's analyze it step by step. The armor is mid, the speed is great anyway for an infantry. The melee attack and melee defense are good, and that's why with a huge melee attack he can be a duelist, but he doesn't have the armor piercing damage, and the weapon strength itself is a little low, so I would be careful with this assumption of a duelist. The missile attack is great with 190% of range as a basis, a lot of missile strength even if not armor piercing. The magical attack, so good for demons, for big demons. It is basically a Way Watcher but without armor piercing, so there is the ability that if there is not enemy nearby, its missile stats are increased. And then yeah, it's many different support abilities. It has the sniper and the stalk that together are great because you can you know, you can just move around the battlefield and shoot your arrows and they will not see you. Then there is a magical missile that it's particularly strong, and I mean, you know, many things around missile resistance. It's great, but yeah, if I have to say, mine is just for fun, because it's great with the sniper and stalk. It can be quite powerful against particular characters, but there are still many different ways, and you know, it can be in danger quite easily. It's not that strong if it's charged or addressed by a monster, by other infantry. and or even by characters, even if it's a duelist. So yeah, it can be funny, and in some very rare circumstances it can be powerful, but yeah, it's more the management that he requires, the attention. He doesn't have a mount, so you know there is no way to upgrade his melee stats and his speed, so he would be just on foot trying to hit the right target, and yeah, no, definitely just for fun. The spell singer is your wizard and spellcaster of the roster. So yeah, I mean, not that much to mention about the stats. The melee attack and melee defense are not that bad, and yeah, but the big point about them is the magic. So depends, of course, on the lore of magic you choose. If you want if you want to. The spell singers, these are the spellcasters wizards of your roster, so not that much to say about their stats. They've just, you know, to move around and cast their spells, their magic. How powerful they are, of course, it depends on the lore of magic you're choosing. The good thing about them, at least compared to the Waste Stalker, is that they can have access to a Great Eagle. I mean, first to a horse, then a unicorn, and then a Great Eagle, and it's good because with the flying capabilities and with Great Eagle you even get more melee attack and melee defense, weapon strength, and this is a very great combination. You can be a character killer and also a fast and strong spellcaster, so overall they are a must for your army, especially if you don't have another spellcaster as a lord, and yeah, just love them. And with the Great Eagle, as I said, they are amazing. The Branch Raid, this is another very specific and peculiar unit. It's something between a melee specialist, a wizard, and a support hero, that you would think, oh, all these things together, yeah, but at the same time I really don't know how to use it in the best way. I mean, it's good at everything and excellent at nothing. The melee attack, melee defense, weapon strength are all great, but again, no armor piercing, so I mean, with what you want to use them. The armor is not that great to be a tank, the speed is not that much, so yeah, it's very weird. Then it has an array of spell that can be great. I mean, they manage better to create it, but yeah, overall it's too weird. It gives me this weird feeling. That's why I never I recruit it if I have it as a hero option and you know, a free slot in my army. Otherwise, I mean, it's not that I'm looking for it, even if it's, I mean, great looking, and it gives you, if you are building an army made only of trees, so dryads, treekin, and the treemen, I mean, it's the best support you can find. But yeah, for me, definitely, I don't know. No, we can say never to recruit. I'm sorry about that. I know that many of you in the comments would say no, but in this case, yes, but overall, you know, I want to have something clear and easy to use in my perfect Wood Elves army. Otherwise, I can recruit it for fun, for some special reasons, but yeah, definitely not that worthy to recruit. Now let's talk about the units introduced with the last Wood Elves DLC, the Twisted and the Twilight. Very great DLC. I would suggest you to take it even for the amazing campaigns and characters. But now let's talk about the Blade Singers. The Blade Singers are the most elite melee infantry of the Wood Elves roster. They are damage dealer, fast, with no armor. Of course, they are Wood Elves. Elite warriors. They have an amazing speed. Melee attack is great. The melee defense also, that is not something I expect for a damage dealer anti-infantry like that. They have the magical attack, ammo piercing, and anti-infantry with this kind of double sword. So I mean, just love it. They are immune to psychology, so don't care about monster. They have some augment that you can choose that increase the melee defense or the base weapon damage. I mean, you have to decide. Overall, a nice addition, and it feels like the role of a war dancer, but increased, because they are so powerful. But yeah, depends the kind of army you wanna build. and in most of cases I just I mean, I don't recruit them, there are other options, but yeah, they're definitely great. That's why I put them in the situational section. The Glade Riders with Spears. Now, I don't know if you have direct access to this unit, but I remember that they got introduced. I mean, to play with them, you needed both DLC. I don't know if it's still like that. Anyway, they are basically like the Glade Riders, but with spears instead of the bow. Very, very basic. They do the job, but they are really not great at that. They are like the Wild Riders, but far less. So not that much to say. They are of course fast. They are made to hit missile infantry, artillery, but nothing more than that. And then they're very, very weak. So for your very early campaign, they're probably a good choice. That's why I would still put them in the situational field, not because they're great, but just because they are the best units that can fill that role in case. So yes. And now we have the Great Stark Knights. They are the most elite cavalry of the Wood Elves. They are they're basically a monstrous shock cavalry because these deers they're bad. They're big. They're very big and bad. Their armor is okay. They are shielded, so they will be protected from missile. The speed is good for being that huge. Okay, it's definitely good. It's like many other cavalry, but they are big cavalry. The melee attack and melee defense not that impressive, but with the charge bonus of 70, it is it's basically a chariot, and the weapon strength, armor piercing, they do plenty of damage. Then they have the frenzy, the vanguard deployment, a little physical resistance, and they cause fear. So overall, they are a shock monstrous cavalry that can scare. They can frighten the enemy units and let them rout, and then their charges is very amazing to look at, to watch, and yeah, lovely, very lovely. I don't know if I would recruit them in my perfect army, but we can say yes. Okay, let's say yes. If you need a powerful cavalry, they are definitely the only and one of the best choice in the game. So yes, for me they are a worthy and must to recruit. The final unit added with the DLC are the Zods. The Zods are this monstrous cavalry and the beast. It's your decision. Even here, they're very specific units, but good at their job. They have mid armor, nice speed, not that great compared to cavalry or other flying beasts, but okay. Melee attack and melee defense are not that crazy. Okay, and you will see they are not that crazy, even because the number of entities is quite low. The weapon strength, even here, it's good. It's armor piercing, anti-large, but there are still few entities to justify that. They have the magical effect and another ability called Dampen. That basically removes magical damage, and I mean it negates overall magical weapons in the area. And it's good because, you know, if there are enemies like demons that can affect more dryads and in 3 kin and 3 men, this is a way to, you know, negate this bonus. They have some missile resistance and a couple of ability like the Sisters of the Thorn that can be useful, but they require a little of management. You need to see how to use it when, and yes, overall they are great. But yeah, in my opinion, I mean, actually against cavalry and monster in the late campaign, they are your only choice. That's why I will put them in the situational thing. They're not that necessary. I mean, with the Wood Elves, with a lot of arrows, you can solve any problem. But yeah, they can be great against monsters or cavalry trying to flank you. Don't let them engage in melee with infantry. Believe me, they're so bad against infantry. You will not believe it if you see it. But yeah, against cavalry and monsters, they are definitely great. So situational is okay. And then there is the Glade Captain, a hero added in this DLC. It's great. It's a hybrid specialist both for melee and for the missile. The missile attack is great, even not armor piercing, but with the 190 and some magical arrows. And the weapon strength about the melee, it's very great. It's armor piercing, anti-large, with a lot of melee attack and melee defense. Actually it's a great melee specialist for a hero, and then it has access to a couple of mount that can be helpful. There is a horse that in case you want to be faster, a great stag in case you want more charge, and a great eagle if you want more versatility, more mobility, and more weapon strength. So there are many options to use them, and for me it's great. In any army you need you know, quite I mean, it's definitely not a tank but a melee hero, melee lord, so for me they are a must choice, worth to recruit, and yeah, very great, and I really like the aesthetics. Now let's talk to the units accessible uniquely in the campaign of Drycha or Drycha. I never understood how to pronounce her name, and yes, there are basically these three options of the dryads, the three kin of the three men, that are basically the same. They have just a more purple reskin, and they have the frenzy that increase some stats like I mean yeah, I think the weapon strength, then the charge bonus, the melee attack, and yeah, and then they make them immune to psychology even if they are already immune to psychology. So nothing that worthy, they're just more expensive, and you will see, you will recruit them just in your campaign with Drycha, so it's not, I mean, have not to say if they are worthy to recruit or not, because they will be your easier option just because you're Drycha. Otherwise in the other campaign you will not get access to them, so yeah, nothing to say. I unappreciated reskin. I don't know, they could have done a little better, I think, with a couple of twisted stats. They could have done a better job, but I mean, it was a long time ago, and we didn't expect a work, or I mean, a huge campaign built over around Drycha, so it's okay. Now let's talk about the monsters, the little beast that Drycha has unique access to. Let's start with the cave bats. They come from the vampire roster, but in this case they are not undead. They cause fear because they are bats. They are expendable, so don't worry about them routing, even because they will. Definitely. They have no armor but an amazing speed, and yeah, good weapon strength. The melee defense is huge, I don't know why. They are very good at annoying missile infantry, artillery. They can destroy them actually quite easier if they are not protected, so a worthy choice, honestly. I mean, you don't have other option like that in your army, even if I mean, you have to be careful, because if you're attacking very armored faction like the dwarves, or very missile focused faction like the elves, I mean, they're just useless. So they are situational in my opinion. That I mean, it's a great thing. Then we have the giant spiders. The giant spiders have the huge attribute to have a strider, the strider, so they can move without penalties in all the terrain, and then they have the poison effect that reduce the stats of your enemies. Since they are the price of an eternal guard of a dryads, I would not suggest you to recruit them. They have the armor piercing weapon strength, and they cause fear, but they are very low entities, so yeah, in any case against most of the infantry they will lose the fight. They can attack from the back, or they have a nice armor for the Wood Elves army, but believe me, even if the stats can suggest differently, they don't perform that well, in my opinion. That's why I would just not recruit them at all. The giant wolves. The giant wolves are this harassing, quite fast, I think the same of a cavalry war beast. They have no armor, and this is a problem, but they have some missile resistance, like if it can help. They have a nice speed, good melee attack, I mean, good melee attack, good melee defense, just because if you use them with the charge and with that little weapon strength, not armor piercing, I mean, for fun. For me, they are for fun. You can use them to harass in the early campaign other infantry and so on, but yeah, they would not stand a fight, so they are just better to, you know, at a psycho charge at the back of your infantry, when of your enemy infantry, when they are already engaged, and I mean, just that. Feral Manticore. This is a huge flying beast that, I mean, it's okay, yeah, it's a little tanky, it has the rampage that it's, I mean, it's very, very bad. Honestly, with the other flying option of the High Hells, I would not recruit it. I mean, it's more tanky than an eagle, even, and with more weapon strength, but yeah, overall, for the same purpose, is not great, and as a tank, it's not enough. It's a huge target, weak, and yeah, I don't know, not that particular. That's why I would put it in the not worthy to recruit category. I'm sorry about that. In other faction probably does better, but in this just redundant and not effective. The Great Ox, if you want cave bats, but definitely better with less defense. I'm still trying to figure out why that. They are, I mean, they have armor piercing damage, they don't have exceptional melee attack and melee defense and no armor, but they have an amazing speed. And they are huge, they are big, they have a good charge bonus. You can attack cavalry, you can attack missile infantry, even if the cave bats will perform better. I think that once you start to be able to unlock them, it's just better to rely on the hawk riders or other things, because yeah, they are good but not that much. For me they are for fun. And finally we have the feral bears. The feral bears in this roster are anti-large and they cause fear. That are the main attributes. So you have to choose to use them against cavalry, and in the Drycha campaign they can be helpful because you will have less option for your anti-large units. They have still no armor and they don't have any missile resistance, physical resistance, so you have to be very careful. They're made only to protect your flanks. Basically, good melee attack and good melee defense. The weapon strength is huge but not armor piercing. Yeah, to cover your flanks they can be great. That's why I will give them a situational things. Say that, thank you for following me, and let's see very soon.